Brought to you by Opus Management Consulting Group. Make sure that you visit our website at www.opusmanagement.us. While you're at it, if you find value in today's stream, we appreciate you following us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or LinkedIn, or simply tell a friend about our live stream. This live stream is about the topics that are trending in business apps, ERP, social media, and marketing, all pertaining to the Opus Management division of Opus Apps, X Apps, and digital workplace designs. Each week, we deliver the best topics on business expertise of the industry. For today, I'm your host, Jeff Bodker, Client Account Consultant for Opus Management. So let's go ahead and dive in. Today's topic is how remote work is here to stay. So do you guys remember when the Jetsons was on? Some of you maybe are too young to remember that. But if you're younger, you may have heard of this cartoon produced by Hanna-Barbera from 1962 to 1963, over 60 years ago, which is crazy to think about. Then in 1985 through 1987, new episodes were produced. But I remember watching Mr. Spacely. He was the manager of this place called Spacely Sprockets. And he would have a video phone call with George Jetson, and it seems so futuristic. And now I'm doing that with, on the World Wide Web, which is mind-boggling to me. This show went into syndication for many years, but I remember watching it and just thinking how cool that was. They got to kind of work and be remote and all that kind of stuff. Their dress code, we saw that they had this mask that they would put over their face, and it would be like a nice rested face. But also, in today's world, what are people wearing to work, right? Are people wearing suits? Are people wearing slacks? Like my outfit right now, I'm wearing this polo, but I'm also wearing like some comfy shorts, right? And so, the days of having to wear, socks and shoes and all that kind of stuff may be long gone. I know there's some industries that still require this, but a massive amount of migration is happening all over as a result of being able to work remote, right? An example of this recently, I read an article about the Bay Area to Sacramento, a decade of change in just 2 years, right? So if anybody has traveled to the Bay Area, it's very expensive. It's very there's a lot of people that live there. It's beautiful, but there's also a lot of traffic and stuff as a result. So people, for years were starting to move further and further away from the Bay Area so that they could afford a home. And so they would move out to places like Sacramento or beyond, places like Roseville or Rockland, or even out to, other places as far as Reno, I read. So a massive amount of these people are moving, and they want these flexible work schedules, right? The ability to work from home. It brought the freedom to determine where their home is. In 2018 and 2019, pre-COVID, about 150,000 people left the Bay Area. When the pandemic hit, that number doubled to nearly 305,000 people. So the region between the Bay Area and Sacramento is starting to melt together. If anybody has ever driven that Highway 80, you would have seen there's farmland, you pass all these different cities like Davis and Vacaville. On the way in, there's like these wide open spaces. Those are starting to close in. So people are starting to move there. It'll soon be one mega region, much like we see LA today, if anybody's ever traveled out to the LA area. So, over and across the United States, there's all these different places starting to develop. And a reason for this is remote working has allowed people to work remote in these various states. And a lot of people are in search of affordable housing and overall just a better quality of life. So whether that means, being closer to your family or friends, or raising a family in an area where it's not so populated and not so congested, less traffic, maybe you want a farmhouse on an acre lot. People are really wanting that to move out of the city centers lately with this remote working. So what does that look like for you? Are you comfortable with where you're currently working? Maybe many individuals want a better living situation, the ability to set up their own schedule, make your home office as functional and as comfortable as you possibly want, and have no commute. What a win-win situation, right? So maybe on your lunch break, you can use it instead of, scurrying out to get something really quick, maybe you can just go and get something from your kitchen, or maybe you can run an errand, maybe you can throw a load of wash in the laundry, whatever you want at that time. So many people for so long, do I dare say, wasted hours, right? Getting ready for work, commuting, maybe stopping for fuel for your car, often eating on the go or skipping meals altogether. They would arrive stressed to work. They would need to recalibrate before starting work. And also, there was so much small talk in the office on your way in, maybe just getting to your desk. So now people can sleep in a bit. Maybe they go to the gym. Maybe they have a morning routine that they really like. They can make a nice breakfast. They can catch up on the news, whatever news they choose to look at. And they can then go log into work. So on a break, I mentioned throwing something in the laundry, but they can also, take a walk around the neighborhood, maybe go out and get your mail, or schedule appointments, or talk to a friend in the comfort and privacy of your own home. So a lot of situations with the working remote and benefits that a lot of people don't ever see. I have a handful of friends who prefer to be in the office and getting away, not to blend their home life with work. They say they don't want to have that energy in their home space. But the majority of my family and friends, however, prefer to work remotely and enjoy the flexibility, right? It's important to take breaks. Sometimes it's easy to get in the zone and sit for hours knocking out projects. But it's important to allow yourself to relax and get your mind off work. Maybe get out and go to lunch with a friend. Maybe run that errand that you need to do or been meaning to do. So now the companies have all invested in tech for their employees to work remote. It would be pretty involved to get everyone on board to go back to the offices, right? If you had everything set up and you had your computer and your keyboard and your special space that you work, it would be kind of hard to have everybody corralled together to move them to a different area. However, the spaces, with offices, I know that one of my companies that I worked for in the past, their office lease had expired during the pandemic. They did not renew. And so a lot of these are getting ready to expire, not being renewed. And the spaces will be repurposed or demolished, much like we have seen with the closure of malls across America, right? So repurposed office buildings, what's that going to look like? Maybe they'll bulldoze them and create neighborhoods so more people can work at home in the future. And as we move to an online work platform, and the new technology comes available with virtual workspaces where you can actually go into a meeting room together via virtual reality, there's not going to be a need for these brick and mortar buildings anymore that we were so accustomed to and used to pre-pandemic. So, but Jeff, people may say, not everyone is able to work remote. There's service industry and hospitality, to name a few. Yeah, I realize that. These are jobs that are starting to move to a hybrid. Office work is done remotely instead of having to go back into the office, having like a back office setup rather. And with online banking and online computer software available, this is driving business into the future at a rapid rate. So have you been to a restaurant lately? All you do is scan the QR code with your cell phone. You can order, or if you're in a hurry, you can order ahead of time and pick up. So thankful for those workers that are, working these jobs around the clock for us to stay healthy during this COVID time, and also just all the industry workers that work during this time and continue to work hospitality and mechanics, all these jobs that I have friends across the board in many of these industries. So thank you so much for your time during these tough times. But we are all adjusting to post-COVID era, and it will be interesting to see how society continues to evolve. I'm excited for just more, I think with more flexibility and really enjoying the things that really matter in life. This is really helping our society kind of move to a different way of thinking and more relationship driven as far as with our customers and with the people that we work with and our peers, just really making sure that we see what's important and not wasting our time on these other things. Thank you so much for joining me today on Water Cooler Wednesday. Again, my name is Jeff. We look forward to joining you next week on Water Cooler Wednesday with Opus Management. Have a